Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Rewind That. It's your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. I hope you do consider hitting that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, let's get into this episode. The latest episode of The Chi, episode number 5, season 3, called Terror Town. So this episode starts off with a pretty good surprise, right, guys? It's Keisha, and no, it's not a flashback. She's alive, okay? And at first, I did think it was probably like a premonition type dream or something like that somebody was having, but we got to see that it's very real. Also, I rewinded it because I noticed that Keisha still had the same hairpiece she had on in the wedding, and this is what also made me know, okay, yeah, this is really Keisha and she's actually alive. So she's getting bathed by some creep dude and they didn't show his face, right? So the guy is saying how he found her dirty and dressed like a slut, but daddy gonna get you all cleaned up, he tells her, right? So he dumps Keisha's head under the water and the scene jumps to someone being baptized. So we see Ronnie preparing for baptism by Poppa's father. And I was actually really proud of Ronnie because it's like he's really trying to get himself together, you know? Next, Emmett is at Sonny's and he's looking all worn out. And Sonny tells him that someone told him that they thought they saw Emmett creeping out of there at 2 a.m. So Emmett says, oh, yeah, I just forgot my keys. Sonny says, you also forgot to open up the windows and air out the kitchen. So Emmett kind of snapped at him and was like, look, I got a lot on my mind, okay? I can't remember everything. But Sonny checked him real quick and let him know he ain't tolerating no disrespect. Then Sonny tells Emmett to be more careful next time and to turn out the lights because he doesn't need his bill being ran up. He got enough problems already. So as Sonny goes to the back, Emmett just looks stressed and worried. At first, I thought it could have been fear for being caught out there with Sonny. But when he looks at Keisha's picture on the canister and grabs a hold of it, I started to feel like his worry was for Keisha. Next, we have Keisha being spoon-fed by her captor. She has on her tracksuit and she looks cold and uncomfortable. Now, we still can't see the guy's face, but by now I'm sure most of us probably guessed that it's her track coach that she used to date. Next, Trig and Imani get a visit from a social worker and she notices a few things they need to get in order before her next visit. She tells Trig to get an outlet fixed, Imani to get her business license to do hair in the house, and for Trig to just refer to Imani as his girlfriend, not his wife. So as she's asking questions, Trig gets annoyed by the fact that she's writing everything down. And he says something about it to her. So the social worker tells him that she's just doing her job. Then Trig says, why we gotta do this anyway? Jake is my blood and I ain't gotta prove nothing to you. So, you know, this wasn't the brightest thing for Trig to do because he came off as someone with anger management issues. And if you're trying to get custody of a child, that's the last thing you want to show a social worker. You know, Trig really needs to get that temper in check. Next, Kev, Jake, and Poppa meet up at the pizza shop where they plan on going to a haunted, abandoned building. But Jake gets a little upset because Kev never told him that Jemma was coming as well. On top of that, Poppa invited Maisha. Next, Keisha is left alone in what looks like a basement. As she looks around the room, she sees a camera following her every way she turns. So she has to use the bathroom and goes into a supply closet where she thinks she has privacy. But there's a camera in there as well. On top of that, she has to go to the bathroom in a bedpan. That is just so humiliating. Next, Tomas takes Jada to a family function where she meets his mom and brother. So Tomas's mother and brother waste no time talking about Tomas's deceased wife and how much of an angel she was. And you know, it's like, that's nice that they loved his wife so much, but it's a little rude for them to be doing all that when they're first meeting a new girlfriend. Next, Dominique tells Emmett that he needs to be honest with Sonny about using the restaurant after hours. So Emmett tells her that if they make enough money, they can make Sonny an offer that he can't refuse. I guess he thinks he's Don Corleone up in this piece. Anyway, so He was thinking something more like, help pay the rent that Sonny is behind on. But Dominique tells him that the offer doesn't sound too good. So Emmett tells her to just worry about the food and he'll take care of Sonny. Next, the kids are at the haunted building and Jake and Jemma have a quick little tiff in which Jake tells Jemma to shut up. So Kev bucks at Jake and tells him not to tell Jemma to shut up. And Jake was like, really, Kev? And I'll talk a little more about this later on. But let's move on. Next, all the lights go out in the city and it's officially a blackout. So Keisha takes this opportunity to find ways to break out of the basement. Next, Jada is in the mirror, still at Tomas's family function. And she's repeating some affirmations from this audio that she called Iyanla. And clearly, that was some other chick named Iyanla because it was not Iyanla Van Zandt, okay, beloved? Next, Kevin and the gang realize they're in a blackout. So as they figure out how they're going to get out of there, Jake mentions that there's certain streets he can't go on. But Jemma says that she thinks that they should wait for the Uber, which is being upcharged. And, of course she can afford it, but they can't. Anyway, Jake tells her that, her vote don't count. Nobody cares about it. So Kev, once again, acting like he want to fight Jake, bucking at him, talking about, I care. And it's like, Jake was really, honestly, he's been cool. All right. We saw last week that Kev got up in his face about Jemma. This week, he got up in his face like twice already. And each time Jake was pretty calm about it. So I don't know how long this is going to be able to go on before Jake probably stalls on Kevin. I don't know, but it may never happen, but whatever. So anyway, Jemma says, you know what, don't be mad at me because, I got a better hand in life and things like that. And it's just like, first of all, that's offensive to the whole crew that's there in front of your face. Like, anyway, this little girl, honestly, she pretty much annoyed me in this episode. But Jake was like, F your hand, Jake's little accent to me is so cute. So, basically Jake was telling her, look, I got the street smarts and someday that's going to make me some real money too. So anyway, Jemma was like, you know what? I'm going to just take Jefferson. Okay. I'm not scared of my people. This little girl thinks that her being book smart can be used on the streets as well. And, she's just wrong. She's just sounds pretty naive in this moment. And thankfully nothing happened to them while they was out in the streets, but still, she still was shook as all heck. And I know she probably never think she could ever do anything like that again. Anyway, let's move on. So next, Trig finds Imani packing her bags. She tells him that she's going back to Kankakee because she doesn't want to ruin his chances of getting Jake. She tells Trig that she had to kill her father in self-defense and no social worker is going to let her around any kids because of that. But Trig tells Imani that he needs her there with him and that he doesn't care about what happened in the past because he loves her. Next, Douda is taking this blackout as an opportunity to advance his campaign. All Perry Pizza locations will be open and he sends out teams to deliver pizza, water, and flashlights. Next, Keisha is still trying to get herself out of that basement, but she starts freaking out and tearing the place up because nothing is working. With this scene right here, guys, I thought it would have been a good idea for her to just grab one of them trophies and post up by the door and wait for old boy to come down, okay? Once he came through the door, she should have bust him right upside the head with the bottom of the trophy because that's where it's heaviest. Anyway, while Kevin, Scary Jemma make their way through the hood, Ronnie meets up with Miss Ethel, who somehow escaped from the nursing home. Like, how? Wow, I'm telling you, real life though, nursing homes sometimes be slipping. Anyway, thank God for Ronnie's friend who stayed with Miss Ethel until he showed up. Next, Jada tells Tomas that she didn't appreciate finding out that he was once married. Tomas apologizes but tells her that she has to have tough skin if she's going to be around his family. He also let Jada know that before his wife died, she gave him the blessing to find love again and that he's willing to try with Jada. Next, while Ronnie has a heart-to-heart with his grandmother, she asks him if Keisha is still missing. Ronnie says yes. So Miss Ethel says, I'm not worried. I know you'll find her. Next, Poppa, Maisha, Kev, and Jemma are having a good old time at Sonny's, dancing and all that. And all I could think about is how my boy Jake is left out. Even though he went his own way, his friends were wrong for putting him in a fifth wheel predicament. Next, Jake and Douda have a little bonding moment over some jazz music, but it's interrupted by a text Douda gets from Big Mike telling him to come out back. So as Douda gets up, Jake asks if he could go too. So Douda says, yeah, come on. So they go out back and Mike has some dude hemmed up for spray painting a campaign poster. Douda tells Mike to let him go, then apologizes to the young man. But when the guy tells Douda that he ain't no Harold Washington, Douda goes psycho on him, knocks him to the ground, and starts stomping him out. So before we move on, let me do a little sidebar about Harold Washington, okay? Harold Washington was the first African American to be elected mayor of the city of Chicago in 1983. So I just don't see why this upset Douda so much to beat the heck out of this guy like that, okay? So Jake is watching the whole time and he's pretty spooked. So he gets the heck up out of there. Poor Jake was probably wondering, who in the world do I live with? So he runs to Trig's house and Trig asks him why he was sweating. So Jake says, I ran all the way from Perry's. So Jake sits on the couch and he's pretty winded. Then Trig sits beside him and brings him in close and just hugs him like, I got you, little bro. And Jake hugged him back too. And it just goes to show that no matter what happens, hopefully Jake will always feel he has a safe haven in his brother Trig. Next, Sonny pops up on Emmett and he's caught out there. But the worst thing about it is that Sonny was disappointed in Emmett, okay? That he couldn't be honest with him. Sonny let him know, look, I knew you was doing this the whole time. I knew you was up to something, but I was really hoping you would be man enough to be honest with me. He lets Emmett know that he looked at him as the son he never had, and all he wanted to do was teach him how to be a man. But he sees that he was wrong about him, and it was just a waste of time. So he tells Emmett to shut it down and get the heck up out of his establishment. And it was like, sheesh, Emmett, you ain't got nothing to say. You couldn't even apologize. Like, I know Emmett felt bad, but he could have at least said something. Anyway, he might be able to get back in Sonny's good graces, though, later on, because I think that the food blogger that came, I think she's going to like Dominique's food. And it's going to bring Sonny's restaurant some good attention. Next, Keisha finally finds something to help her bust through the bolted door. But when she gets through the door to outside, she collapses on the ground like, oh, thank you, thank goodness, or whatever, right? Instead of running until she got as far away from that house as possible. And it was like, are you serious, girl? So that was just such a dumb move, right? Now, as the captor grabs Keisha to pull her back inside, Ronnie is walking in the middle of the street, trying to find the shelter that Pastor told him about. Now, apparently he's close because he hears Keisha scream and starts running in that direction. And that was that episode, guys. Wow. All right. So 2 things for me that I'd like to mention before I get out of here. One is that I was surprised to see Keisha so soon. I really didn't think we would see her again until maybe the last episode. Also, I wasn't expecting her to be taken by the coach, although it's something that makes sense and I'm not surprised by, okay? This guy is disgusting enough to sleep with underage girls, so it's not far-fetched for him to kidnap one either because he already has a sick mind. All right, number 2. I really didn't like how Kev treated Jake in this episode. You know, him constantly jumping in Jake's face like he's ready to fight him over Jemma is just corny to me. You know, Jake just finished telling Trig how Kev is his family. All right, because he wanted Trig to help him. And Trig is like, no, I only help family. And Trig is like, well, this is my family. So you want to help me, you got to help him, you know. And for Kev to turn around and act like he want to fight him over a girl he hardly knows, that's a slap in the face, all right? And I just really felt for Jake in this episode. Now, I don't know how hard Jake is going to take all this, if he even really took it that hard, but we'll see, all right? And I really think that Kev needs to take it easy because he's just doing way too much, all right? He needs to keep in mind that he doesn't know Jemma like that, and Jake is like his brother. Anyway, guys, you know, this episode was okay for me. I wouldn't say that it was like, oh, it was so good. For me, I don't know what else to expect at this moment, especially since they let us know that Keisha is alive. And, you know, I'm glad that she's alive. I suspected that she was alive, but I just didn't think that they would show her so soon. So I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with this. So because they showed her to us this soon, I'm expecting some kind of twist. All right. And that kind of makes me a little nervous. So we'll just see. All right. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.